Very good evening to all of you. Today, we are going to discuss one of the important pillars. I mean, we can say it is a pillar for achieving sustainability, that is basic human needs, and how basic human needs has to be, look from the lens of sustainability, issues of sustainability. So it is a part of our block 2, first unit. And I assume that most of you have looked into our self-learning material. So when we talk about basic human needs, as you know, when we talk about, when we study the growth of human civilization since Neolithic age till today, whatever issues we are having is because of our pressure to meet our human needs. But if you look into the way we are asking, or we are, converting our human needs, that create a problem, and that is one of the reason where today is because of humanity, because of human population number, in increase in population, and increase in that human needs in quantity, in terms of quantity and quality. You can say most of us, we used to say that we have the kind of characters which we define in one word as grits. So this created the gaps of harmonious relation between nature and society, interaction, flow of resources. So in that way, we know that sustainability, issues of sustainability come up. So in this session, so we'll identify varying needs of the human beings.
Human beings cái
varying needs of human beings, then establish linkages between basic needs for human survival and well-being of the ecosystem. When we talk about the basic needs of for our human survival, we entirely depend on the natural resources, means in our ecosystem. As we talked last time, discussed about that when we are talking about sustainability, the most important basic things we have to understand when we study about a dimension of sustainable development, we have an understanding that we need to understand that the flow functions of ecosystem. That is very important, because it is the function of the ecosystem, that means well-being of the ecosystem, that gives you our needs. So from that point of view, we are going to look into, then we need to understand the relationship among major human needs, then natural resources in terms quality, quantity, availability, accessibility, and well-functional ecological system, functional way. So when we talk about these human needs, we have learned that one of the important, one of the very famous hierarchy of needs is the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which was proposed by Abraham Maslow's, and different approaches. So approaches and been later on by different authors, and that was basically based on this Maslow's 5 stages of hierarchy of needs. So then Maslow's in later based on his experience and looking into the human dynamic characteristic of human, and it was proposed is 8 stages of hierarchy. So we are going to touch upon on that also. Then human scale development approach, and we are going to touch upon on human ecology and basic human needs. Then sustainability hierarchy, then equity, basic needs, and ecology. As now, when you talk about this Maslow hierarchy of needs that originally proposed 5-stage model, in that you will find out the first basic and this model of first basic stage is biological and physiological needs. Because when you talk about biological and physical needs, what we need? We need air, food, drink, shelter, warmth, then human relationship, sleep, etc. So if you do not have this biological or basic biological and physiological needs, it will be very difficult to maintain other needs. Means if you have that needs, automatically will ask for another needs. That is when you have good air, if you have that access to good air, good food, good water, and a proper shelter, and all these characteristics, then the next hierarchy, what we are looking is our needs is safety. That is protection of individual, protection of your family, then security in terms of your social security, in terms of livelihood security, then order, law, limit, stability in terms of treatment. Okay. Then when you have safety needs, then the next hierarchy which we need is your family, your affection, then your relationship between your individual, between then next is STEM needs, then achievement. When you have that first, when you have your food, your basic life needs, your food, drinking, water, then proper shelter, and other biological and physical needs. Now you need the next hierarchies. You need to have safety, basic safety needs. That is protection, security, order, law, limit, stabilities. When you have that, then you have, and that needs of that belongingness in love, that is belongingness in which family, belongingness in which community, and belonging to which state, which nation, that will come. Then that will come your affection, your relationship, and your group of people, and that means your your relationship with other community, or relationship between different family and other network. Then next, when you have that, you will look into STEM needs, that is your achievement. What you have achieved, what I want to achieve, what kind of status I am having, which kind of status I have to maintain in terms of whatever you earn, which all your basic needs, if you have got it, then what is your responsibility, what is your reputation, that then you will have, okay, when you have all these basic needs, all you yourself will self-actualize that what kind of personal growth I have, and what kind of personal growth and fulfillment I need to maintain. These are the original 5-stage model of hierarchy of needs proposed by Maslow. Then after that, he proposed ID stage, ID stage of hierarchy of needs. In that, what the other 3 needs are: after you have belongingness and love and needs, then you have STEM needs, achievement, status, responsibility, and reputation. Then automatically you have a cognitive needs. When you have achievement, for getting more achievement, to maintain your achievement, your status, responsibility, reputation, what you need knowledge, you need the meaning of what status you are getting, what responsibility you are having. Then you will be self-awareness about your responsibility and about your achievement, about your status. Then another is, when you have all these things, you will have an aesthetic needs, that is beauty, balance, form, and others. Then, as you know, the last needs is transcend, helping others to self-actualize. So these are the basic, the modified Eichstein's hierarchy of needs proposed by this Maslow. Okay. Then different theories, need theories is proposed by different authors that consider the following essential needs of the human: their safety, security. Means, as we discussed, the need for structure, predictability, stability, and freedom for fear and anxiety. Because freedom, fear and anxiety is also one of the important, traits to ours to that have we have our. This is one of the characteristics which we have in human individual. Then, and then belongingness, love, what we have explained, we discussed self-esteem need to be recognized by oneself and others as strong, competent, compatible. It also includes the needs to know that one has some effect on how his environment or his communities has an effect. He has some effect from individual effect. As we talk sometime, I want talk about environment aids and influence the characteristic of a man, or characteristic of the human also influence, or culture or characteristic influence the environment. In that way, self-esteem is also important. And personal fulfillment, that means the need to reach one's potential in all areas of life. Then we need to have our own identity. That means goes beyond a psychological sense of belief. The human needs theories define identity as a sense of self in relation to the outside world. So identity becomes a problem when identity is not recognized is itself. That's why we are having some problem whenever we this identity, whenever there's some issues when you are going to go outside your state or outside your community. So then legitimate, or when it's considered inferior or is treated by others with different identification. So legitimacy is also important. Then cultural security, that is also related to identity, the need for recognition of one's language, tradition, religion, cultural values, ideas, and concept. Then we need to freedom. It is the condition of having no physical, political strength, having the capacity to exercise having capacity to exercise in all aspects of one's life. Then another is distributive justice is also one of the needs for fair allocation of resource among all members of a community. Here, we are looking from a holistic or broader sense of needs. Pluralism, from pluralism point of view. And another is participation, because human is a social animal, so we need participation. So the need to be able to actively partake in and influence in civil society. So from that, if you look into those basic that are looking into, from individual point of view, but when we talk about in the present era, what people we have dynamic way of, the changing in the human needs from the last 2-3 decades. We can see after industrialization, suddenly we have, without, because of our human greed, this particular characteristic. So looking into from perspective, different authors, they have proposed a number of, they include more need that based on, especially based on human scale development. One of that, Max Neff Manfred, silent ecological economics, and in his team propose a human scale development that lays a strong emphasis on the role of human creativity in development. Because when you have creativity development that taken care of your other needs, which is, increasing from which is increasing the process of in the process of development and with the advancement of human knowledge. So the purpose of economy is to serve the people, so that why we are looking from this human scale development point of view is that the purpose of the economy is to serve the people and not the people to serve the economy. So then this theory, this particular Max Neff Manfred, that scale development based theory of human needs, development approach of human needs, that has three important postulates. Development is about the people and not about the project. Object, not about the object. Then fundamental human needs are finite, few, and classifiable. So whatever we are doing, the process of development is about the people. It is not about that particular objects. Then fundamental human needs are finite. Because as you know, we usually take the basic three important basic needs is roti, kapra, makan. That way, the human needs, fundamental needs is finite, only few, and can be classified very easily. Then fundamental human needs are the same in all culture in all historical. You will find out these three basic needs. We need clean air, we need food, we need proper shelter, we need clothing. These are basic needs. And if you find across the world, irrespective of intergenerational and intragenerational, you will find out all these basic needs are same. That is, we have to understand this theory, this postulates this particular three important point principle is behind that human scale development approach of human needs proposed by Max Neff and Manfred. If you look into difference on that, the hierarchy of needs proposed by Maslow is basically based on the perspective of psychological perspective of human, and that human scale development approach that looks into the broader sense of social perspective. If you will find out that here in this table that it's also in your study material that human scale development approach, in that we'll see the needs satisfier. So in that, two important characteristic we need to understand is needs are according to existential categories, existence, because that is buying, having, doing, and interacting. Then 9 categories, axiological categories, which we give that as character by our based on that particular activities. That is subsistence, protection, affection, understanding. What are that? That is here, for example, when you talk about the existential categories of being, then subsistence character, axiological categories in terms of subsistences, physical health and mental health. When you have physical health, quality you have, that is mental health, that is being yourself. It is that. Having food, shelter, and clothes is the subsistence. In that way, you will find out this 9 subcategories of axiological needs. I will not go in detail. Then if you look from the Marxist perspective, it defined that economic process is then infrastructure. Infrastructure, if you look into that, now it is one of the basic human needs to reach or to extend our own civilization. And other substances such as culture, religion from the superstructure. Culture, you need to have that. We are talking about when you talk about that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we are talking about identity. So if you look from a broader perspective, that is what your identity can be from that human physiological point of view, a biological point of view, human individual point of view, your identity. Now, if you look into the broader construct, you need to identify its culture, based on your culture, based on your community, based on your religion. And human engage themselves in social production. That shows that the interaction between nation society, and if you look to broader context of human ecology point of view, and that human ecology, if you look into our human ecological perspective and looking into human basic needs, participation and interaction relationship is one of the important characteristic from that is we ourselves are engaged in social production, right? Then ecology, from ecology of human social system perspective, we'll see human appropriate material from environment. We entirely depend on the existing necessary resources, and then we alter and circulate them through social relation. That we have seen that in the human civilization. Once we used to follow the medium of barter system, now we are using that currency and the monetary is a medium to share our resources from one community to another. In that way, we develop or circulate our social relationship. So they accord such material with value which affect the dynamics of the objective process of appropriation, alteration, and circulation. So it is in this way we are affecting with the natural resources. That's why through this process, and when we are going beyond the line of limitation, limit of then the issues of sustainability. Then when we talk about this relation between human ecology and the basic human needs, and as we know, we understand that developing infrastructure and that the way we are doing in this process, we know in our social relation, in the process of development, we created another gap, as we call it sometimes social inequality is there. Then how we are using the resources, that can be looked from sustainability point of view. That's why there are some important terms we need to understand. That is, one of them is bubbling effect. Bubbling effect, it is certain commodities demand increases when the price increases. Social status, exclusiveness of the product. For example, some of the needs, will not tag that as a basic human need, but because of social status, to maintain your status, then we demand a particular product or particular resources. If you are from the status of that particular community, or from that particular status of economic status, then to show that, to maintain that, sometimes beyond your basic needs, you are having or you are maintaining, or for example, instead of having two-wheelers, you are using four-wheelers. This one kind of bubbling effect example. Then you are going to the 3-star hotel, to the restaurant, to take your lunch, dinner, and this is one of the example bubbling effect. So you tag that a basic needs for based on your status. The another is Engel coefficient. Engel coefficient is the proportional spent on food, that in terms of calories and subsistence needs. That is, if you look into vulnerable, especially if you generally look into the low income group, vulnerable group of the society. For them, the basic needs is the food in terms of calories. And when you spend the the income you spend on food, and that is ratio of the total, the percentage of expenditure you spend on food from your total income. That is Engel coefficient. So so looking into those things, another authors, Julian D. Marcel and Michael V. Toffel in 2005, they have developed a sustainability hierarchy. When in the beginning, we talk about a hierarchy of needs from physiological perspective, sociological, biological, that means from individual perspective. Then we have human development approach. We're looking from the perspective of social perspective. Now, the point is, so that is, so Julia, what they propose to do. And that is looking into the action we are doing. So that is first basic, whatever we are doing at the current rate, continued at the current rate or forecasted rate, endanger the survival of human needs. First, this is what we have done based on our basic need. The second action is that hierarchy is the action that signify reduced life expectancy in other basic health indicators. Then third is action that may cause species extinction or that violate human rights. The fourth one is action that reduce quality of life or are inconsistent with other values, beliefs, or aesthetic preference. So the point is that depending upon the action to get our human needs, and if we look in link with that with sustainability perspective, they propose this particular four hierarchy of sustainability hierarchy here. First hierarchy is if we continue at the current or forecasted rate, that will endanger the survival of the existing way of our utilization. Then second is number of activities were increasing day by day that will have direct impact on, that have significant impact on our life expectancy, on other basic health indicators like pollution and others. The third one is the way impact, the scale of impact is greater. So that may cause higher magnitude of that destruction, means that have direct impact that threatens the sustainability in a broader perspective. So in that way, they have proposed the sustainability hierarchy. So when you talk about the basic human needs, that's then human ecology, when you study that human ecology, basic human needs, and issues of sustainability, and if you look into those needs or the issues of sustainability across the globe, that is distributed in an uneven way. So we have to understand the concept of equity and equality. What is equity? The qualities of just needs, fairness, and impartiality. That means the basic needs, when you are talking from that basic human needs point of view, from human needs point of view, equal distribution should be, equity should be there. That equality should be there. Equality means exact division or equal sharing of resources, and everybody should have the same. I mean, if we are maintained equality, this particular exact division or equal sharing, and we can say that most of the people around the world, they are having basic human needs. That we have to understand. But unfortunately, that basic human needs, it is not equally distributed across the world. And that's why one part of the country or one part of another part of in one part of country or one part of the world, we have issues of hunger, poverty, a number of social issues. And when we talk about the basic needs, hunger is one of the indicators to understand the issues of basic human needs, because food is the first basic needs one should have. So what is hunger index? Hunger index is the deprivation, food deprivation or undernourishment, specifically as the consumption of fewer than about 1,800 kilocalories a day, the minimum that most people require to live a healthy and productive life. The point is that some part of the world still they are not getting the basic human needs. That's why to understand particular issues, whether all citizens of the world are able to get particular all these basic human needs. So to understand this, to monitor this, we have global hunger index. It is a combination of the three major indicators: undernourishment, child underweight, and child mortality. They are equally weighted to reflect the multidimensional nature of hunger. When you talk about hunger, we actually, in a common logic, we used to say that they do not have food. It is not only about having food, getting food, it is about the nutrition. And it needs to be looked into different stages of life. That's why three major indicator is undernourishment, the child underweight, and child mortality. So Global Hunger Index, which was recently published, that have few key messages, and of that, two important messages is today there are too many individuals, they are suffering from hunger and undernutrition. Nearly 690 million people are undernourished, 144 million children suffer from stunting, that is a sign of chronic undernutrition. 47 million children suffer from wasting, a sign of acute undernutrition. And in 2018, 5.7 million children died before their 5th birthdays, in many cases as a result of undernutrition. This gives a message that we are talking about those basic human needs. We're talking about human scale development from that social perspective of human needs. We're talking about sustainability hierarchy. Still, in some corner of the world, we are not able to give the basic human needs That's why still hunger exists. Though we says it is improving across the world, but in some particular region like sub-Saharan African country, they are in a very, they are not progressing well. Like country like India, we are also facing these issues. So let us have a quick look into the global hunger index scores that is calculated. It is a tool for comprehensively measure and tracking hunger at global, regional, national level. They are based on the value of 4 component indicators. Before this 2020, they use only 3 components. From this 2020, they use 4 indicators. They are undernourishment, that is share of population with insufficient calorie intake. That's why we're talking about, it's not about the quantity of food. It is talks about quality of food, nutritional value. Then child wasting, share of children under age 5 who have low weight for their height, reflecting acute undernutrition. This particular in the component was not there before that. Then child stunting, because if you do not provide nutritious food, that will, there will stunting in child. Then child mortality, child under age 5, partly reflecting the fatal mix of inadequate nutrition and unhealthy environment. Why, when we're talking about basic human needs, why we're focusing on food is, if you do not have proper food, that is your biological, physiological need, then you will not be asked, or you will not be achieved the next hierarchy of needs. It may be from the perspective of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or from the perspective of social perspectives, or from sustainable hierarchy of needs. So based on the value of 4 indicator, global hunger index determine hunger on a 100-point scale, where 0 is the best possible. That means no hunger, and 100 is worse. It's countries, that is, you will find out, I will show that, and I will also, you can find out this report easily. So India is one of the country under this alarming, not alarming, that is serious in this year. See here, in India, by 2020, we have hunger index of 27.2. That means 27.2 is serious. So the point is that, though we are proud of ourselves that we are economically improved from the last 1 or 2 decades, but hunger is still there. And if you look into global ranking, we are in 94 rank. So we need to understand, because when you talk about sustainability, and when you talk about inclusive growth, if you are not able to give that the basic human needs, it will be very difficult to give or to get other needs. So though we are improving, but we have to improve a lot. So other country, as I told you, that like Sahara, Africa, south of the Sahara, South Asia is still, they have hunger index of this way alarming, very serious issues in some country. Then country like Congo, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Yemen, and this is because of a number of factors, not only your environmental factors. You must have seen in this area. Social turmoil, socio-political turmoil exists. So when we talk about, that's why when we talk about basic human needs, that's why we need to understand from sociological, social point of view also. Because if your environment is not peaceful, and if your environment does not allow you to get those your basic needs, then it will not be able to achieve that improve the issues of hunger. So we have to understand the relationship this. So that's why we have first, even in M Million Development Goal and that followed by SDGs, uh, the first goal is ending poverty, and the second one is end hunger. These which are uh, highly interrelated. So first, if we are able to maintain means, if we are able to give basic needs, means we have to zero down the hunger, issues of hunger. Then only we will be able to achieve sustainable development goals. Let us look at, and these issues, as no, these issues are very, I mean, these issues are in interstate or means international. That is that's what I can say. This particular issues of hunger is not concentrated in a particular country or in a particular region. When we have these issues, and to improve themselves, an individual, a group of people, they move from one region to another to get another livelihood. So what I might point is, it is not a local issues, the issues of hunger, issues of basic human needs, it's not of that prevalent characteristic. So, then that. So these are in this latest hunger report 2020, we'll find out that 47 countries have low hunger index, and series 31 countries, and this moderate 26 countries. This is based on global hunger index report. So let us quick look into how these basic human needs, uh, how we have to understand during this COVID-19 especially. When we talk about basic needs in this COVID-19, we have already talked about hierarchy of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and others. In this particular situation, you will find out across the world there is change. The meaning of basic needs is suddenly changed. ICT has become one of the important, that is dynamics of, that's what I want to say is the basic needs, it's changing from, it's a spatio-temporal characteristic. Another is, if you look from that point of view, we realize that there is sudden change in global food system. Because of that, that has direct impact in improving or giving basic human needs to individual, to a community. Another is, you will see the livelihood patterns will suddenly change because of COVID-19. That's also directly related to your or getting basic human needs. So the issues here is, if you want to bring a long-term solution of human needs, we need to follow an approach of sustainable well-being as guiding principle. That is, we cannot talk about only physiological or biological human needs or only social perspective of human needs. So we need to understand the sustainable well-being concept. This is proposed by Yan Go. So in that, it looks the holistic understanding of human needs. So the most basic human needs that includes, we realize, particularly in this, we evidence in this particular COVID-19 situation, that social participation is very important, or is one of the basic human needs. Health and autonomy yourself. Then intermediate need. Then if you have social participation, we used to say that basic needs is air, water, and food. But now if you look into what it is existing, particularly in this such kind of pandemic, such kind of issues, our is social participation has become one of the important keys or important basic needs, followed by water, nutrition, shelter, energy, which used to be the first basic needs, and security. That's where work practice that talks about what Maslow's hierarchy of needs has become the second. Then we need to have a secure childhood, then economic, physical, security of economic security, physical security also require. Education has become one of the important basic needs. Healthcare, we repeatedly discussed, it is also important. So we used to see the basic human needs from an objective point of view. Now we have to look from the point of pluralism. And all these basic needs are cross-generational, and it should have a, or it already have a ethical grounding. So the point is that if you maintain the sustainability hierarchy, or to achieve the sustainability, the basic needs to be understood from sustainable well-being point of view. So these are some of the point I would like to share with all of you. Thank you.